Your mulch is killing your plants right now, and you don't even know it. That beautiful layer you worked so hard to spread could be choking the life out of your garden beds, and even experienced gardeners make these deadly mistakes every season. I'm about to show you the critical mulching errors costing American gardeners thousands in dead plants and destroyed soil health. Stick with me until the end for the one technique professional landscapers charge hundreds to fix, but you can correct in minutes. Before we dive in, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell because I drop game-changing garden secrets every week that you cannot afford to miss. Your neighbors will be asking how your beds look incredible while theirs struggle. I saved the absolute showstopper for last, and trust me, this one mistake destroys more plants than all the others combined. Mulch touching plant stems, crowns, and trunks is a death sentence, and it's happening in gardens from coast to coast right now. When mulch sits directly against living plant tissue, it holds constant moisture against the bark or stem, creating the perfect environment for crown rot, collar rot, and fungal diseases that spread faster than you can react. With perennials like hostas, daylilies, and coneflowers, mulch piled over the crown suffocates the growing points and invites rot during wet weather. With vegetables like tomatoes and peppers, mulch touching stems causes damping off and bacterial infections. The rule is simple but critical. Leave a 2 to 3 inch collar of bare soil around every single plant stem and trunk. Think of it as giving each plant room to breathe at ground level. This small gap allows air circulation, prevents moisture buildup, and lets you spot problems early. For ground covers and densely planted areas, this gets tricky, but do your best to keep mulch from actually touching stems, even if you can't create perfect circles. This one change will transform your garden's health and save you from watching prized plants mysteriously. So there you have it. The mulching mistakes that even experienced gardeners make without realizing the damage being done. We covered volcano mulching that suffocates tree roots, suffocation layers that block oxygen, fresh wood chips stealing nitrogen, hydrophobic mulch that repels water, dyed mulch contamination, timing catastrophes, wrong mulch types for specific plants, pest paradise problems, and that critical mistake of mulch touching stems. Each of these errors costs money, kills plants, and holds back the garden you're working so hard to create. But here's the inspiring truth. Mulching done right is one of the most powerful tools in your gardening arsenal. Proper mulching conserves water, suppresses weeds, moderates soil temperature, feeds beneficial microbes, and creates that finished professional look we all want. It's not about avoiding mulch, it's about using it you see it everywhere, from Texas yards to Oregon landscapes. That neat cone of mulch piled high around tree trunks looks professional, but it's actually called volcano mulching, and it's killing trees fast. When mulch touches bark or piles more than a few inches high against the trunk, it creates constant moisture that leads to rot, invites pests, and suffocates the root flare. The root flare must be exposed to air. Here's what pros know. Mulch should be pulled back at least 6 inches from any trunk, creating a donut shape, not a volcano. Ideal depth is 2 to 4 inches maximum, and that root flare should be visible. Would you wear a turtleneck pulled over your mouth? That's what volcano mulching does to trees. I've seen 50-year-old oaks in Virginia killed by homeowners who thought they were protecting their trees. The bark gets soft, fungal diseases move in, and by the time the canopy thins, the damage is irreversible. Which trees in your yard are you checking right after this video? Most gardeners hate me for saying this, but thicker is not better with mulch. You've been told to pile it on for that magazine-worthy look, but here's the truth. Anything over 4 inches starts working against you. Deep mulch prevents water from reaching soil, blocks oxygen from roots, and creates anaerobic conditions where beneficial microbes die and harmful bacteria thrive. In the humid southeast, thick mulch becomes soggy and breeds rot. In the southwest, it forms a crusty cap that sheds water like a tarp. 2 to 3 inches is the sweet spot. You get weed suppression, moisture retention, and temperature control without suffocation. The test is simple. Stick your finger through the mulch to touch soil. Can you reach it easily? Can water penetrate in seconds? If not, you've gone too far. I see gardeners add fresh mulch every spring without removing old layers, creating compacted mats that suffocate plants. Are you ready to grab a rake this weekend? Wait until you see what happens when you use fresh wood chips straight from the tree service. Free chips seem like a dream, but fresh chips steal nitrogen from your soil right now. When wood breaks down, microbes need nitrogen and they'll pull it from your soil, leaving plants pale and yellowing even if you fertilize. This is nitrogen immobilization and it lasts months. Gardeners dump fresh chips around tomatoes and roses, then wonder why everything looks anemic. Here's the secret. Age your chips 6 months before using them in planting areas, or use them only on paths. Let them darken from pale tan to rich brown. That color change means they're safe. If you must use fresh chips, add extra nitrogen fertilizer to compensate. Have you ever wondered why your plants turned yellow after mulching? Everything you know about mulch retaining moisture is about to change. Old, dried-out mulch actually repels water instead of absorbing it. When fine shredded mulch sits in full sun for months, it develops a waxy coating that makes it hydrophobic. Water runs right off like you're pouring onto plastic. Your plants are bone dry underneath while you're watering faithfully. In hot climates from Arizona to California, this happens fast. The fix is simple. Break up the surface with a rake before watering, or use a wetting agent. Choose chunkier mulches like pine bark nuggets that don't pack down. Do the touch test. Pull back mulch and feel the soil underneath. Is it moist or dry? If dry after watering, you've got hydrophobic mulch. Don't water more, fix the mulch problem. Are your plants showing drought stress despite regular watering? Those vibrant red, black, and chocolate brown dyed mulches could be contaminating your soil. The real problem is the wood source before it got ground and dyed. Much dyed mulch comes from recycled pallets, construction debris, and old pressure-treated lumber containing chromated copper arsenate. Yes, arsenic. These heavy metals leach into your soil season after season, affecting edible plants and soil organisms. Here's what changes the game. Keep dyed mulch in ornamental beds only, far from anything you'll eat. For edible gardens, stick with natural, undyed hardwood mulch, pine straw, or shredded leaves. Ask suppliers about their wood source. Reputable companies use clean wood, not construction waste. Natural mulch enriches your soil as it breaks down instead of poisoning it. What type of mulch are you using in your vegetables? Don't skip this part because it could save your entire garden. When you apply mulch matters just as much as how you apply it. Putting mulch down too early in spring keeps soil cold and soggy when plants are trying to wake up. Soil needs to warm for roots to activate and microbes to get moving, but thick mulch laid in early spring keeps soil cold for weeks, delaying growth and inviting root rot. In northern states from Michigan to Maine, gardeners mulch in April when soil is barely 40 degrees, then wonder why perennials are slow to emerge. Here's what pros do. Wait until soil has warmed and dried, usually late spring when you see active new growth. For vegetable gardens, mulch after transplants are established, not the day you plant them. The exception is fall mulching for winter protection, but wait until after the first hard frost so you're not creating a cozy home for mice. Are you mulching too early and holding back your garden? Here's what the pros don't want you to know. Not all mulches work for all plants. Acid-loving plants like blueberries, azaleas, and rhododendrons thrive under pine needle mulch because it slightly lowers soil pH. But that same pine mulch around vegetables or roses might create problems. Hardwood mulch is fantastic for most perennials and vegetables, but too wet for Mediterranean herbs like lavender and rosemary that prefer lean, dry conditions. These herbs do better with gravel that provides drainage and heat. In the southeast, cypress mulch resists fungal growth better. For strawberries, straw keeps berries clean and reflects light. The showstopper mistake is using grass clippings without understanding their quirks. Fresh clippings heat up, mat down into slime, and contain weed seeds. If you use them, apply thin layers and let them dry first. What plants are struggling because you're using the wrong mulch type? I saved this one because nobody talks about it, but it could explain every pest problem you've been fighting. Mulch creates habitat for beneficial insects, but also provides perfect hiding for slugs, snails, pill bugs, and rodents. Thick mulch against your house foundation welcomes termites, carpenter ants, and mice. In vegetable gardens, mulch around tomatoes and peppers creates humid conditions where slugs feast. Here's the controversial truth. Sometimes less mulch is better, especially with severe pest pressure. Keep a bare zone of several inches around vegetable stems and prized ornamentals. Around your house foundation, maintain a 6-inch mulch-free zone and consider gravel instead since pests can't burrow through it. In slug-prone regions like the Pacific Northwest, some gardeners skip vegetable bed mulch entirely and use landscape fabric or cardboard. Monitor your mulch regularly, flipping it to check what's underneath. If you see armies of pill bugs or slug trails, reduce mulch depth or pull it back from stems. Have you checked what's hiding under your mulch lately?